On this week's show, we spotlight pace of life issues with Dean Cunningham, tag along as Laurentians honor Martin Luther King Jr., meet humanitarian and NBA luminary Dikembe Mutombo, and bring you to the Lavino Relays. Lawrenceville's 10-minute newscast begins right now.
From the studios inside the Lawrenceville School's historic Pop Hall, this is L10 with Aiden Duffy.
Hello and welcome to this week's show. Fourth former Teddy Masterson received the 2018 Delmaz Award, a grant funded by the Gladys Kriebel Foundation on behalf of Trustee Emeritus Dr. Patricia LeBaum. Masterson will use the grant to study in Rome this summer as part of the Paideia Living Latin program. On January 18th, the midday music program featured works by alumni composers. Two-part Invention in A minor by Randall Thompson, class of 1916, was performed by third former Alana Nathan, and Nassau Waltz by Paul Morovic, class of 1975, was performed by third former Nina Suresh. Hamel House alums Jared Modfess, class of 2015, and Stephen Feed, class of 1974, are working together to capitalize on the boom in cryptocurrencies. Investors with complementary perspectives, they recently partnered and are looking to close their first fund by the end of March. Big Red Track sped past the competition on Saturday at the 47th annual Lavino Relays. The teams broke 2 school records and captured 7 gold and 2 silver medals. Student athletes also qualified for 4 events in the Eastern Championships and for 1 event in the New Balance Indoor Track and Field Nationals. More on Lavino Relays later in the show. Learning to balance rigorous academics with vigorous extracurricular activities is part of the Lawrenceville experience. Our head of video editing, Justin Wong, sat down with Dean of Faculty Chris Cunningham to discuss initiatives aimed at helping passionate Laurentians improve their pace of life.
Thank you for coming, Dr. Cunningham. So why do you think that pace of life is an important issue that must be dealt with?
A school like Lawrenceville, or frankly any institution, you want to make sure that the quality of life is healthy and satisfying, both for the students and also for the faculty. So I think quality of life is always something we want to be thinking about. More specifically, this particular moment, this particular, I guess, dive into pace and quality of life, being with Mr. Murray when he came to Lawrenceville, when he first came, he had a wide range of conversations with faculty, with students, with parents, with alumni. So one of the themes that did come up in a number of the conversations was this issue of pace and quality of life. This is a hard school, and people come here for a reason. But I think he thought it was serious enough that it was worth looking into and having some longer conversations about.
Having done preliminary research into the problem, what do you think is the major problem that is affecting the quality of life currently at Lawrenceville?
I think a good answer to that question is pretty complicated. I don't think there's any single source or factor. I think there are a range of factors. So I'd say on the broadest level, one of the challenges is that Lawrenceville is a high school in the early part of the 21st century in America. Then more specifically, there are issues to being a school at this moment in time. And we can do what we can to try to buffer some of those kinds of cultural forces, but we can't, our gates keep out lots of things, they don't keep out those kinds of things. And then I think that there are things that perhaps may be unique to Lawrenceville, and that's actually one of the, I think, ongoing discussions is, are there certain things that are specific to Lawrenceville and the way our calendar works, the way our curriculum works, that exacerbate these things that are already there, and I don't know. I think that's frankly one of the things we're trying to figure out.
So how do you think the school would treat different points of view, and what are its priorities in solving the problem?
I think that is the complexity, because there are some kind of big philosophical questions here about what kind of school Lawrenceville is, what should our curriculum be, what should the student experience be, the faculty experience be, and whatever solution we come up with is going to affect different people in different ways. So I think that's the conversation we're having right now. is how to balance all those competing interests and do what we think is what's the best for all, as the mission says.
Thank you, Justin. On Wednesday, the school community scattered throughout New Jersey and Pennsylvania to honor Dr. Martin Luther King by doing community service. Prior to the event, the community was visited by Stacy Pierre-Louis, a Lawrenceville alum and Dean of Residential and Campus Life at the Christina Sykes Academy in Ewing. Miss Pierre-Louis addressed the school community on the importance of service. Embarking the next day, teams and houses pitched in at food banks, nursing homes, and schools. We were there and bring you this recap.
Mrs. Kosoff said you were one of the pioneers for founding the MLK Day of Service. How did that motivation come about?
So I remember a group of us were discussing the fact that Martin Luther King Jr. Day really wasn't observed here at Lawrenceville, and I think a lot of people thought we were wanting a day off, but we really wanted to find a way to really honor his legacy in a really important way. So a friend of mine, fellow Laurentian, Titi Lola Bakare, it was something that she was really passionate about, and she kind of just gathered us all up and kind of led the charge really with that. And so instead of vying for a day off, which I think most students would have appreciated, we talked about honoring his legacy and really wanted a day on and a day for service. And so we were able to come to that agreement with administration, and it's really, really exciting to know that it's continuing on long after we've graduated.
Yeah, so right now we're at the Mercer Street Friends Food Bank, and so far we've just been sorting through all the donations and putting them in the right bins.
Anything that will mold, donuts, pastry. Well, I'm a volunteer associate. I've been doing this now for 22 years. Lawrenceville and all the schools in the state, throughout the state of New Jersey, means a lot, because you see this food around here. Without the volunteers' contribution, Lawrenceville, we could never get this out. It's cool.
So I went into this not really knowing what we're gonna be doing. I've never worked at any food bank before. It's great work here. I'm amazed at what these people do on a daily basis.
Even though we're not seeing them, we know that if someone wakes up and they're hungry, we're helping them get food. And so it just means a lot to be helping people.
Of course they make a difference, yes.
Absolutely.
Of course. We need as much help as we can. Volunteers are very important. And this is what you do. You come here and you help, and you're touching the hearts of others.
You guys saved us at least a half a day, if not a full day's work.
Yes.
And you did it in a few hours, which is really helpful to us, and we're really grateful.
Thank you very much.
On Thursday, the Sports Business Club brought humanitarian and NBA legend Dikembe Mutombo to school meeting. I caught up with him in the Kirby Arts Center after the discussion. Thank you so much for coming today, Mr. Mutombo. In your talk at school meeting, you talked a lot about how your family instilled the message in you from a young age about the importance of helping others. Can you just talk a little bit more about that?
As you know, I'm from Africa, so I carry deep on my tradition and the thing that's been said before me and the thing that has been practiced in my culture. As they say in the African continent, the child is raised in a village. It's the responsibility of those who are living in the village to make sure that every kids that are born in that village succeed and following a good path. So I was not just raised by my mom and dad, but there was also other people in the community who did look after me, who make sure that I got into drugs or into drinking, make sure that I got into school. If I skip school, they will tell my parents. So there was always people watching after each other kids in the community where I come from. Can you tell us a little bit about the work of the Dikembe Mutombo Foundation? Oh, the work of the Dikembe Mutombo Foundation has been amazing. It was a dream that so many people didn't believe in it. And I'm so happy as I'm talking to you today as we celebrate 20 years of the Dikembe Mutombo Foundation and 10 years from the opening of the Mutombo Hospital, which bearing my mother's name, the Biamba Marie Mutombo Hospital, that have treated more than 350,000 women and children. So I'm so happy with everyone who have contributed to the Dikembe Mutombo Foundation, also to my success. And we are all trying to make a difference.
Finally tonight, Lawrenceville hosted the 47th annual Lavino Relays on Saturday. The excitement was palpable as track athletes from across the state competed in this signature event.
First, I met with boys captain Jeremy Huang to hear his thoughts on the team's performance so far.
As a captain on the team, really pleased to see how our freshmen are doing. A lot of our underclassmen really stepping up in their events. Bob Fisher, really great leg in the 4x2. Justin Zoe, he got a little trapped on the outside, but he really pulled through in the end. As far as field events are going, we are seeing a lot of underclassmen as well. Definitely having our other captains step up. Meinhardt, you're going to see him in the 200, the 400. You're going to see Jeff Mott at the high jump. So done some really great leadership out here. So as far as the long jump went, my last attempt, I have to say my steps weren't that great. But coming off of an injury, I think just really feeling great, feeling bouncy, trying to get back into it. Hopefully my next jump, I can get my steps right and hopefully have a good one out there.
Girls captain Kaylee Huseman was equally as optimistic when we caught up with her right before her race.
So we have a girls 4x8 in first for the first heat right now, and then we're in the second heat. So far the girls 4x2 has won, and then we have a couple more races left, and we're hoping to do really well.
Following the conclusion of their race, the girls 4x800 meter relay team offered some reflection on their big win.
We just ran in the 4x8, which excitingly went well. We got first place this year, so excited about that.
We did really well. We didn't hit the time we wanted to, but we're excited to come back again and hopefully get the records.
There's a lot of people here, which helped bring up the intensity, and it was a really cool meet. My first Lavino relay meet. It's a big deal.
Yeah, we ran about 4 or 5 seconds off the school record today, which was really exciting. So that's one of our goals this season. And this was actually our first time running together in a 4x8. So to see that the team chemistry is already there and that the times are already looking good is really exciting.
We caught Sarah Long after her attempt at the high jump.
We actually have good enough jumpers to do 2 teams. So we've got 2 teams of our high jumpers this year, which is great. We're all in at 4.6 right now, which is a really great height. There are only so many left, so we're hoping to place really high. We definitely can. We have our Elle and our Amy and Laura, so it's going to be great.
Throwing captains Alex Morrow and Charlize Reynolds offer their perspectives.
Overall, I think we're doing pretty well for how young of a team we are. We got 3 new guys in Jack Taylor, Danny Irvine, and Zach Dreyer, coming out and competing for the first time in the shot put, and a rather large meet. So, nerves are high, but I think they're going to come out in the end and pull through.
Girls shot put did really well. There's a lot of competition, but we definitely pushed through. We definitely had some best throws of the season today, which is really good.
From the 47th Annual Historic Lavino Relays, I'm Michaela Boxley. Back to you, Aiden.
That is our broadcast for this Friday, January 19th, 2018. From all of us here at L10, thank you for watching and good night.